What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lost Boys Gaming. Today we're talking the best and worst of Nintendo from 2021, plus what things can we expect to see from them going forward into 2022. All right, everybody, welcome back. As I said, we're talking the best and worst from Nintendo for 2021. So I've broken it up into a few different categories. Some games I'd like to talk about from the things that we saw from Nintendo specifically in 2021, and then we'll look forward to see what we can hopefully look forward to in 2022. So the first thing, might as well get the sad part out of the way, right? The biggest disappointment from Nintendo in 2021. Man, there's a few different things that really come to mind. The first thing I gotta definitely talk about is the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. I feel like this is something that Nintendo really is just set up for success with. They have such a great backlog of games for us to go back to, from the 64, the GameCube, right? The Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy, and with going into the 64 was just so awesome. But then to see how they handled it all was just so disappointing. I know we've gotten a few games. We've gotten Paper Mario last month, and we can look forward to Banjo-Kazooie hopefully in the next couple of weeks, as they said it'd be coming in January. But just the way that things have been handled, it just, to me, it doesn't reflect that this $50 price point that they've come in at. I mean, I've paid for it because I felt like I needed to see the games and to see what it was like before I could really judge it. But it really has been just pretty disappointing so far, and I feel like Nintendo really needs to up their game in that aspect. The other two games that really come to mind as disappointments for 2021, I definitely got to go with Mario Golf. I felt like this game had such good potential. Mario Golf Toadstool Tour on the Game Boy or on the GameCube was so fun. It was a great gameplay. The single player was fun. Getting together with your buddies was, and playing around the TV was a blast. And I felt like I was super excited for this game, but it came out and it was just not a complete game. They didn't have very many levels or courses to be able to play. The character list was pretty slim, and there was so much that was really missing. I know they've gone back in and added it, and it's a lot better experience now, but they continue to put out games that are incomplete and unfinished, and that's been pretty disappointing to see, especially with Mario Golf. And along those similar lines, as much as a Pokemon fan I am, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, they were fun, they're great remakes, I did enjoy them, but to see the number of glitches and bugs that this game had was just unacceptable. I mean, how many different glitches and back doors did we find to be able to clone Pokemon, clone items? And it's cool and fun, and it's kind of reminiscent, I guess, of some of the Game Boy games. You could do some of those type of things, like Pokemon Red. But to see a game like this come out and have a huge download as well, I mean, the game wasn't even on the whole cart. So that was kind of disappointing to me, and it was a fun game nonetheless. But it was a little bit disappointing to see how those two games and the expansion pass have been handled this year. All right, now we'll get to some of the better stuff. We'll start off with the best indie game. For me, the best indie game of the year was definitely Eastward. It was a fun game. It was a fun narrative. It was pretty long for a game that I wouldn't expect to have that quite of a length. The boss battles were fun. The gameplay was fun. It's definitely a fun game. The graphics are really cool, interesting. You have a really nice setting. So I definitely would recommend that if you haven't, Eastward's definitely worth the pickup. It's on the Nintendo eShop. It's digital only, I believe, but it's definitely a fun game for this 2021. Next, we'll go with the best remakes of the year. I definitely was kind of a tie between Skyward Sword and Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. So Skyward Sword HD, we'll start there. Personally, this is one of my favorite Zelda games of the franchise. I love the story behind it. I know that the controls were pretty polarizing, and you either loved it or you didn't when you were playing it on the Wii. But I feel like the way they handled it with being able to do button controls, and it made a lot of sense, and be able to continue to play with the motion as well. This game was definitely one of my highlights of 2021, being able to go back and to revisit that story of the very first installment, really, of Zelda, to see how the whole story pans out. It was definitely a fun time. I feel like they did a pretty good job with the controls and bringing that game back to life. Bowser's Fury, though, is what really made the Super Mario 3D World really hit for me. It was a totally new experience. It was super fun. And if you haven't played it yet, I definitely say just pick it up for Bowser's Fury alone. I mean, Mario 3D World is fun enough as it is, but Bowser's 3D World definitely sets it apart from anything else we really saw from Nintendo this year, and I definitely think that that's worth the pickup alone. And the last thing we'll touch on for 2021 was Metroid Dread. This is definitely the game of the year in my opinion. It was the first game that I've played start to finish from Metroid. I've played a ton of other Metroid games, but I've never just felt good enough or didn't like it very enough to continue to play it and to push through. This game, however, was so fun. The boss battles were super hard, but they were so rewarding, and they really did reward you for continuing to try, and you would learn the patterns of how to defeat the different bosses. And just the fun it was to be able to go into each room and to see what challenges or what puzzles are in each room and how to unlock the new upgrades for your suit. This game is definitely the game of the year. This has revitalized the Metroid series, and I look forward to hopefully seeing Metroid Prime remakes that we've heard rumored, and definitely Metroid Prime 4 at some point if we ever do end up getting that. I think that for me, Metroid Dread has set it up for to be able to go back and play those games, and as a now a new fan of the Metroid series, I definitely look forward to going in and playing those, and even going back and playing some of the old games on the Nintendo Switch Online, to be able to go and experience some of those as I've started them but haven't really got to the end. But that definitely makes it worth it for me to try to go back and really brought me back into the series. All right, and this last segment, we're going to talk about the potential games of 2022. Now, 2022 is set up to be a huge year. I mean, monstrous. I think of this as like 2017, but on steroids, right? So far this year, we're already getting Legends Arceus this month, which looks amazing to me. I'm personally super excited for this game. I know a lot of people have been critical of the graphics or of what Pokemon's done previously this year. I'm hoping that this game can be a step above what we saw specifically with Diamond and Pearl remakes. Those were, like as I mentioned, were pretty disappointing. Fun gameplay, but overall it wasn't a very complete game. And I'm really hoping that the reason that those didn't get the love and support and that they really needed was because they were working really hard on Legends Arceus. We got Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, and Sonic Frontiers. I think both of these games look incredibly fun. They're taking both of their franchises in a totally new direction, going open world. I think that this could be huge for both of these franchises, and I can't wait to play both of them. I mean, Kirby Star Allies was fun, but it was definitely not a big challenge, and I'm not expecting Kirby in the Forgotten Land to be much of a challenge either, but I am expecting it to be a little bit step up in the development and the gameplay that we see, to be able to go into a 3D world with Kirby. I think will be fun. And I mean, Sonic has been a classic for so long, and I hope that they can kind of revitalize that franchise a little bit with Sonic Frontiers. And then, I mean, we still got Splatoon 3 to look forward to this year, Advanced Wars Boot Camp 1 and 2. I mean, and then not to even mention Breath of the Wild 2, which cross our fingers that actually does come out in 22 and doesn't get bumped anymore. But, you know, as they say, a delayed game is better than a rushed game, right? We have other leaks and rumors as well that we still have. I mean, we've seen what happened with Xbox with the 007 GoldenEye achievements popping up. To me, there's no reason that Nintendo does not bring this game to the Switch as well at this point. I mean, the real question is if this will be a Nintendo Switch Online game where they just throw the emulated ROM onto the system for us, or if we get a enhanced, upgraded version like that we expect to see kind of on the Xbox. I personally hope that we get a little bit of both, like kind of like what they did with Super Mario 3D All-Stars, especially with the Mario 64, being able to go play it, the enhanced version on that, and then still have providing the ROM emulated version on the online service. So I guess we'll see what happens there. But 2022 is really set up to be a great experience. I'm really hoping that they'll try to fix this online service with the expansion pack. But other than that, the games that they've got lined up already, I mean, as I mentioned, Splatoon 3, Legends Arceus, Breath of the Wild 2, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Sonic Frontiers. There's so much good stuff coming out onto the Switch, and I'm hoping that this year really is an awesome year, and that there's so much to really look forward to play on the Nintendo Switch this year. All right, that'll do it for us today, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're up to date with all the newest Nintendo news. Until next time, see you later.